All right, back into the match here. We've got TShow versus Falafels. These matches are slowly concluding as we're getting into the round of 32, as that will be the end of day one. After we get to that round, we will leave those matches for day two, which will happen tomorrow, obviously. A couple heroes already cementing, couple of teams rather, already cementing their spot in the final 32 of the qualifier. A couple heroes that we see similar from TShow from the last match that we saw for them. The Clockwork has put down the Observer word, which will immediately get deworted by the Ancient Apparition. Although there was a sentry ward placed in the hard cam, so there will be no side pulling for either team. Interesting. And then you get that easy healing salve delivered to the mid lane for the Lina. Interesting as well. And the Clockwork managed to block most of the creeps, which would push the bottom lane pretty far, allowing him to get some XP. Nyx immediately comes through with the mana burn onto the Skywrath Mage and takes a lot of damage for his troubles. See your Nyx already getting pretty low in the top lane. Though Death Prophet, again, a hero you don't see as much, even with the rework. Getting pretty low in that mid lane. Gonna get stunned out by the fissure. We'll be able to walk around it. But it was a pretty nice fissure, even so, by the Earthshaker. And now the Earthshaker going to find the Dazzle up on the high ground. Meanwhile, the Nyx getting pretty low in that top lane. Does need to be careful. Uses the Spike Carapace to do damage to the Nyx. Nyx, again, uses the mana. Meanwhile, the Earthshaker gets the first blood in the mid lane, and the Nyx is managing to get another kill in the top lane. So the Death Prophet went down in the mid lane to the Earthshaker. And there was some nice play by the Nyx that allowed him to take the kill onto the Skywrath Mage in the bottom lane. Ancient Apparition continues to harass the Clockwork in the bottom lane. And there's the Ice Cold Feet. And Gyrocopter gets a little bit lucky with the Rocket Barrage. Ends up killing the Clockwork in the bottom lane. So that's one kill in every lane so far for the Radiant. And now here comes the rotation onto the Nyx Assassin. The Sentry Ward is used and he's in the trees. They do take out his Sentry Ward. And nice fissure by the Earthshaker is going to keep the Dire out of this one. Nyx again uses the mana burn onto the Skywrath Mage. Does quite a bit of damage to him. And the Dazzle comes in with some more harass. The Lina will end up finding the haste rune at the bottom rune spot. And it's going to get a tree planted for her by the Ancient Apparition so that she can eat it. Now the Fissure goes on to the Death Prophet. He uses the Life Suck to make her survive a little bit more. But it doesn't really matter. There's just too much damage coming out in the mid lane. And the Rocket not even going to come close to finishing off the Ancient Apparition. So again, the Lina does pretty well in that mid lane. doing some of the damages and stuff. Lena goes over to the invis room, which was scouted out by the courier. And, well, it's 4 kills to 0 for TShow right now. The Death Prophet going to get stunned up by the Light Strike Array. And now she's going to wait for the Lena to get out of her invis, which she does. Just wanted it for the mana, really. Skywrath Mage looking towards the hard camp, as there's an Ancient Apparition here ready to go in. Ancient Apparition ready in the ring. Creeps go below the tower, as the creeps were pulled by the Skywrath Mage, and the Nyx Assassin gonna find one. Skywrath Mage gets a deny on the creep. And I think they kind of want to bait this one out. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Death Prophet uses a suck on to Lena, doing a lot of damage, but the Fissure is going to stop that from happening. So the Lena's forced to back up a little bit as she doesn't have any more regen, and the Earthshaker is allowed to get some free levels in the mid lane. The death suck seems to be pretty good, and it has a couple of charges. Nyx Assassin continue to get harassed by the Skywrath Mage, as the Spectre seems pretty scared. It doesn't really want to go in on this at all, especially with the Ancient Apparition there to put out some damage. So Nyx just being a happy little Nyx on that top lane, and now the Spectre gonna get stunned out. The cold feed is used by the Ancient Apparition, and the Spectre gets pretty low, just ends up disappearing. I didn't know the Spectre just disappeared when it died, but that's just what it does. Lena being extremely aggressive underneath the tier 1 tower. We saw this before in game 1 with TShow. She does like to get into advanced positions. He also has the double damage rune. There's a Fissure, not going to hit on anything. And now the Clockwork Hook misses! And big Laguna Blade doesn't even care about that life suck. Lena's just going to go right back in. There's a nice Light Strike Array onto the Dazzle, who ends up using the Shallow Grave to try to get away. And the Dragon Slave is going to finish off the Dazzle. So now the Nyx underneath the tower sees a Clockwork, has a stun available, going to hit the Clockwork with the Mana Burn. And the Spectral is going to get used. Could go in on the Lena, but Lena still has that double damage rune. Light Strike Array is available, doesn't hit. And now this Nyx has the Spike Carapace call down, comes through by the Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter doing quite a bit of damage. There's a nice Fissure, going to block out a couple heroes. And the whatever you call it, Impale. Impale misses on the Spectre. Spectre trying to chase down the Nyx, not going to find him. And in the end, no one on TShow has died just yet. And Falafels, which is the other team, are trying to do their best to hang in there. It's a nice rotation by the Gyrocopter on the mid lane to help out with that fight. Trying to find out what's going on the map right now. There could be a rotation onto the Lena here. Hook is going to hit onto the creep, and now the Cogs are going to push the Lena back towards the rest of her team. His team, rather, the Clockwork, and the Lena goes down. Now the Death Prophet is going to get used onto the bottom tier 1 tower. She's forced to back up a little bit. The Ice Blast comes through, preventing any healing. Meanwhile, the Gyrocopter is free to push that middle tier 1 tower of the Dire. And Clockwork searches the trees for someone. Call down comes through by the Gyrocopter. Really, he just wants the tower. The Fortify was used, And there's a nice fissure by the Earthshaker, but the Spectre has already used her Q, which allows her to get out of there. 2 towers go down across the map, 1 for each team, and the next assassin is here with the Vendetta, rather. Ready to go in on that Dazzle. Dazzle could be in trouble. There's the Vendetta, and Dazzle not dead just yet. Gonna get hit by the fissure, so didn't have enough mana for the Shellgrave, thanks to the mana burn. Well, that was that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So the Lina did go down, which gave Falafels 1 kill, but TShow still doing pretty well. Earthshaker at 1,000 gold could pick up the arcane boots, or is halfway to the blink dagger, which would be essential for these team fights. And the Lina probably going for an early Yules. The Skywrath Mage is smoked up, gonna get smoked pop, and the Clockwork hits the hook this time, and the Lina once again goes down. She did get the bounty rune, but I don't think it's worth it in that case. So another kill goes the way of Falafels. And the Earthshaker's picked up those arcane boosts, and now it's going to work on those blink dagger, that blink dagger most likely. The Spectre only at power treads right now on 400 gold, so it's going to be a while until she gets to the Radiance. And then you have the Death Prophet doing the little derp stance when she gets hit by the fissure. Next assassin's here, ready to deal with the Spectre. Spectre going to pull the lane back. And the next assassin's still here with the Impale and the Vendetta. The Sentry Ward is going to get placed down by the Skywrath Mage, so they will know when the next comes in. They're just going to have a little bit of safety underneath that Sentry Warden. And the Nyx is going to go find someone else to assassinate. The Clockwork is ready here with Hook. Still only level 7, but that's just kind of what happens on a Clockwork. You go into the middle of the fights. Hook is going to miss onto the Lina, who turns right around and tries to again after that Clockwork. The Spectral going to get used. And the Spectre's going to get the Ancient Apparition in the top lane. The next Vendetta gets used, and we'll see if he's able to find someone in the mid lane. But the Sentry Ward gets placed down by the Dazzle. They're just so on top of this. And they put down another Sentry Ward. Next assassin goes right into it. Doesn't need that Vendetta damage, but here comes the Lyco Striker right. The Laguna Blade not even going to finish off the Clockwork. Going to burn off the Luna's mana. In the end, we'll get finished off by the auto attack, and the Nyx trying to get away will eventually get hit by the Arcane Orb. Maybe. The Skywrath Mage uses this time to put down the Observer Ward on the high ground, but he is going to get away. And now here comes a TP by the Lina onto the top lane. She has a Light Striker available. Will she be able to use it? Bernard sits down and gets hit by the creep for a little bit. The Dragon Slave will finish him off. I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to wait for that silence, but he still got hit by the creeps there. And all you need is a Dragon Slave to finish you off. Probably not going to make it. This Gyrocopter has boots and phase boots rather, and a Drums of Endurance. So I think they're going to make the push onto the top tier 1 tower. Take a little bit of a gold advantage in this game. And we have the next assassin again looking for a kill on the top lane. Unfortunately, there's nobody here. So here comes the push onto the tier 1 tower. Gyrocopter putting the damage onto the creeps. And the tower getting pretty low. Tower eventually goes down to the Gyrocopter. And the Nyx assassin finds the Vendetta target onto the Death Prophet, but the Ice Blast is going to miss though. Death Prophet trying to be careful. Only taken 1 tower with the Crypt Swarm so far. Probably not what she wanted this early in the game. Probably wanted to be done with most of those towers. Spectre ult gonna get used on the Luina. Luina trying to get away. The Clockwork's here with the Cogs, and the Luina uses Yule Scepter, but she is in a lot of trouble. Mystic Flare does enough damage to get the kill, and the Clockwork will eventually finish her off. There's a hook onto the creeps. He's just gonna get the creeps there. And Noble Wings now has used a lot of his mana. He needs to be careful. Earthshaker and Nyx getting pretty aggressive. Earthshaker just wants to run right in. Nyx comes in with the Impale. Echo Slam! Earthshaker comes in with the Enchant Totem. We're going to finish off the Spectre there. So they get a nice return kill onto the Spectre, which is pretty important for them. Spectre with 1,300 gold right now in the bank. Did go for the Urn of Shadows. But it's going to be a while until she gets to the Radiance at this point. Gyrocopter's found up the Helm of the Dominator. Going to be using that to stack up the Ancients. So we've got the Nyx Assassin roaming around. He ate a mango. And a couple heroes smoked looking for some kills. They could find the Spectre in the jungle once again. Ooh, Spectre, be careful. Spectre, you've got an Ice Blast coming at you. Ice Blast comes up. There's the call down, the Fissure, the Rocket Barrage. The Spectre goes down once again to the Gyrocopter. This is not a good day if you're a Spectre. Not a good day. Nyx Assassin could get chased through the trees a little bit, but he is going to evade capture with the Vendetta. The Death Prophet could get caught out here. The Nyx Assassin is ready, and he's looking for it. The Death Prophet still moves pretty fast. Gonna find the creeps. Nyx Assassin still in the Vendetta. And he gets an Ice Blast. Will the Ice Blast hit? No, it won't. Nyx Assassin just says, screw it, your Ice Blast sucks. Let's take a quick look right now at the XP and gold graphs. 5,000 in favor of the rating for XP, and for gold is about 7,500. Still a bit of a rocky road there, but there is the advantage, and it is still growing. Let's take a quick look at the net worth on our chart here. Gyrocopter and Lina leading that one, but they're pretty closely followed by that Death Prophet. Gyrocopter's clearing a couple of these Ancients now, getting some gold. He did get rocketed out, and he's taken a lot of damage. Does need to be careful. Ancient Apparition trying to do some farming. The Gyrocopter picked up a Yasha, which will help him out with the damage. The Ancient Apparition, working on a 4-staff, has a Midas available as well. Meanwhile, the Earthshaker's taking out the Clockwork on the mid lane. And then the Skywrath Mage decided to take a little bit of trip to the bottom, where the Nyx Assassin, not in Vendetta anymore, still about 15 seconds left of cooldown on that. And then the Earthshaker placed a ward up on the high ground, which will get quickly rewarded by the Dazzle. Spotted out by that Observer ward on the lower ground near the rune. Lina continues to push along that bottom lane. The tier 1 tower is still up, but there's a nice network of sentries should the Nyx try to assassinate anybody. Lina a little bit far up here. Gonna get hooked up by the Clockwork. Gonna get a nice force staff by the Ancient Apparition, extremely well used. The Clockwork doesn't have a Blade Mail just yet, and the Lena was silenced by the Skywrath Mage. Now the Death Prophet trying to suck the life out of the Lena. Lena not able to even use that Laguna Blade, and they go forward. Lena goes down. Nyx Assassin trying to get out. He has that Vendetta available. The call down as well. They also have the Echo Slam call down on a couple. The Gyrocopter is being extremely aggressive. He gets silenced up. And the Earthshaker, okay, he has used the Echo Slam, so he doesn't want any part in this. He's also working on the Force Staff. So no go down for the Falafel boys. And possibly girls. And the BKB proved useful for the Death Prophet. Skywrath Mage sticking around for pretty long. Pretty gutsy there on the bottom lane. But eventually he's going to go back to the base. As really, where does this put us for the match? We got 13 kills to 5. Spectre slowly getting back into this game. 3,000 gold, so pretty close to the Sacred Relic, which is important for the Dire success. Invisibility Rune going to get bottled up by the Lena. They're also smoked. Looking for the Spectre. Spectre goes into the trees. Uses the dagger to do some farming. So they know that the Spectre's there. But instead, they're just going to go over to the mid lane. It's the Death Prophet. Lena puts the Death Prophet. Gonna get fissured up. There's a Laguna Blade in the back. Echo Slam even used. Probably wasn't needed there either, but the cooldown was additionally used. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, the Ancient Apparition goes down, trying to get some farm on the way to what I think will be an Aghanim Scepter. However, that leaves the middle tower, tier 2, available for the Radiant to be taking. And the Spectre to be farming. Nyx around the backside, getting ready for the kill. The tower goes down. Nyx Assassin gets ready. He puts the Vendetta onto the Skywrath Mage. He misses the stun. Another Light Striker Way missed. And Nyx Assassin gonna get hit by the dust. He doesn't have a Vendetta for a little bit more, and he doesn't have a Spike Carapace for shorter bit more, but he's just gonna TP out. And he'll be out of there. Gyrocopter's got the Sanjin Yasha. Doing pretty well in terms of farm. 10,500 for net worth. Roshan hasn't been taken yet this map. The Spectre now has the Sacred Relic. And the Clockwork's still working towards the Drums of Endurance, probably. Or maybe it's a Blade Mail. How do you make a Blade Mail anyway? Alright, it's a Blade Mail. I should just trust myself. Couple heroes smoked through the Radiant Jungle. Looking for some heroes. Not going to find them just yet. The Earthshaker is hasted up, so he's getting out of dodge. Death Prophet going to find some creeps in the camp in the jungle. And Nyx Assassin wants to go for a Vendetta kill here. He's ready to go. Will they be able to get it? They want to go for the Roshan. They might just walk right in. Alright, they think that the other team was in Roshan, but they weren't.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That just gives the Spectre more time to get up that Radiance. Lena already had an Aghanim Scepter and a Yule Scepter. Just really needs to stay alive through these fights in order to do her damage. But that is a lot of output if she can stay alive. Didn't go for the Aether Lens this match. They're keeping a close eye on that Roshan. They really don't want the Dire to be getting it at any time. But they don't have the best lineup for it, really. The gyrocopter continues to farm up those ancients. The Earthshaker really wants in on that. He's got the Force Staff. Still looking towards that Blink Dagger. Meanwhile, the top tower going down to the Lina. And no response made by the Dire. It's just a Nyx Assassin waiting here for a vendetta. And the Death Prophet isn't biting. Vendetta will soon run out for the Nyx Assassin. And he'll still get out. But the Lina, she's still going to go for this. The rest of the Radiant have arrived. And that's just a tier 2 tower taken for nothing. Only one tier 2 tower remaining for the Dire. The Spectre continues to farm 500 gold away from the Radiance. The gyrocopter arrives on the bottom lane, 3,400 gold in the bank. What could he be building? Could be a BKB, but it might be something else. Probably won't be a BKB. He's just going to keep on farming. Wena's going to keep on doing her thing. Wena things. And the next looking for those openings once again. Only level 9. Might want to get to a level 11 at some point to increase that vendetta up. But he's just going to sit there and kill some creeps. Probably take a lot of damage from them too. Lina looking towards that Roshan once again. She's just waiting for the rune, really. Finds an arcane rune. Neither team has taken Roshan, and the Radiant gonna look towards that last remaining outer tier 2 tower. Possibly. They're in the bottom lane at least. The courier's coming through with a BKB for the gyrocopter. And the Death Prophet has arrived on the bottom lane. Gyrocopter has his BKB. Still doesn't take away that Crypt Swarm damage or the Dazzle damage. Maybe the Radiance. Well, the smoke comes through for the Radiant. And they're going to go over to the Roshan. The question is, who knows about it? The Clockwork Rocket is available, and it's going to hit the Roshan. Well, it's going to fly over it, and they definitely know about it now. When do they go in is the question. The Clockwork... well, the Spectre's on the other side of the map. Here comes the Cogs. 3 trapped inside the Cogs, and now it's just the Gyrocopter left inside. He's going right up against that Clockwork. The Earthshaker does go down and didn't use the Echo Slam. And that's 3 for the Radiant down. Well, the life being sucked out by the Gyrocopter. Eventually he goes down, and that leaves the Roshan available for the Dire. And they'll just go right in. That is a big gold advantage swing going to the Dire. About 4,000 gold. And let's take a quick look at our XP and gold graph. Sharp dip there from 10,000. Same for gold. And the Death Prophet and the Spectre making a bit of a comeback on the net worth chart.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Clockwork farming up some creeps in the jungle. He's got the blade mail. Still went down pretty fast in the last fight. May as well use the blade mail, I guess, if I'm talking about it. And the double damage rune gonna get sparred out by the Earthshaker. Not picked up just yet though. The Ancient Apparition still working towards that Ags. 400 gold away from it. And he is level 13. So he does have that level 2 ult available and pretty much on his way to level 16. Lena working towards a BKB as well. I guess she doesn't really want to get hit by that blade mail of the clockwork. I guess that's the main reason she would get it, as well as the Skywrath Mage. But I don't really consider the main damage coming out of Falafels to be magic based. Spectre has the Radiance and a Yasha and an Aegis. Not really too much you can do about the Spectre right now. Nyx comes in with the Vendetta. Gonna stun him up with the... Alright, well that's the Aegis gone. And the Nyx Assassin took basically a lot of damage. Here comes the Spectre ultimate, gonna be doing a lot of damage to the Nyx. Doesn't even need to use that reality. But Nyx Assassin will get eventually killed by the Skywrath Mage, and the Lena now has to try to get out. He took so much damage there from standing next to the Spectre as she took damage. It's probably not the best place to be standing. And that'll only keep him further away from getting his level 2 ult. Push here on to the bottom tier 2 tower from the Dire. Showing some life in this match. There's the Ice Blast. Clockwork Cogs and the Lena goes down. Nice ulti combo there. The Spectre eventually goes down to the Ancient Apparition, and the Gyrocopter trying to get away, gonna get harassed out by the Clockwork, eventually goes down. It's a 3 for 2. The Spectre did go down, so good job to the TShow, but well, advantage still went to Falafels. And Falafels have to back up. So they're getting pretty much back into this match. It's pretty interesting. Skywrath Mage picks up an Aether one, so he'll be able to have even better positioning in these fights, even though it's not really a problem for him. Skywrath Mage is 4, 2, and 7. So yeah, he's doing pretty well. Death Prophet has a Shiva's guard, so she's going to be even tankier in these fights. And Spectre's gotten the recipe for the Manta style. Both teams looking for their next move here on the map. Gyrocopter still looking for some farm. And Spectre working towards that Manta style to get a little bit more tanky. Nice hook here onto the Earthshaker. He's going to Force Staff himself out of the Togs, but Force Staffs all over the place by both of the teams. The Earthshaker is still trying to get out. The Spectre ult is available, going to go in on that Earthshaker. Doesn't even need the reality in. And the Vendetta is going to get used by the Nyx Assassin to try to get out of there. So the Earthshaker gets finished off, doesn't have a Blink Dagger. Force Stabs all over the place. And we're still waiting for the next move. Spectre doesn't have the Aegis anymore. And well, Crypt Swarm is coming off cooldown in about 5 seconds for the Death Prophet, so they could make a push sometime. BKB was finished up on Lena, so she doesn't have to worry too much about that Clockwork anymore. Just gonna watch your auto attack a couple of creeps on the top lane. So both teams kind of hanging out around the map. I don't think the Dire really want to get... They're playing really safe. They don't want to get picked off here. Because I think they know that if they do, they're probably going to not... They're probably going to lose a lot. Wow. These guys all have pretty much the same effigy. Oh, that guy's not doing it. That's ridiculous. Gyrocopter continuing to do some damage to the creeps here. 4,100 gold on the bank. Let's see what he decides to go for. He does have enough for buyback and about 2,400 in reserve. The Spectre, however, did not have buyback. That is probably one of the most powerful things in Dota. If you walk around with your team and you die in a team fight and then immediately buy back. It's very hard for a team to play against that. Earthshaker has a ward being delivered to him. Doesn't have his Blink Dagger just yet. And the Roshan's going to respawn sometime. We'll know in about 50 seconds. Meanwhile, the Nyx Assassin just kind of sitting on the bottom lane, trying to finally find some levels, and he needs to get out of there. He's going to get 4-staffed out. Hook is going to miss. Meanwhile, got a Gyrocopter and Earthshaker sitting on that top lane. Once again, trying to push it out. Here's here all over the map. Luna's going to get spied out by the Dire Observer. She's going to find some illusions. And the illusions just kind of weeding the creeps away. Oh, they're not going to find the courier. $3,300 in the bank for Death Prophet. She's 4-4-4. Still looking for some action here. You are 36 minutes into the game. The action's kind of calmed down quite a bit. Tends to happen in your average Spectre game. And the Death Prophet has a Perseverance. We'll see what that is going to be used for. Kira's continuing to farm up here. Gyrocopter still leading the net worth board, and he's bought up a butterfly. And he doesn't have enough for buyback now, so if he goes down, it's going to be pretty important. Another ultimate orb was picked up by Spectre. Hero is still trying to find an advantage over the map. Spectre's pretty close to buyback, which I think would be when the Dire want to fight. Possibly. Just gonna use the Mantis Top and push out that top lane. Game is basically turned into farming Dota right now. Could get a smoke here in a second. Courier comes in. And we get the smoke. And there's going to be no one even near. The Roshan has respawned, so they can go for that. But the rest of the Radiant here is not even close to where the Dire are. Right now, Ancient Apparition is just sitting in the base, working towards that Scythe of Vice. Has finished the Aghanim Scepter. I think neither team really wants to lose this in a bad way. So here comes the Ice Blast. Going to hit on 2. The Spectre has a double damage rune. And the Death Prophet's just going to use the ultimate on Roshan. Roshan's going to die fairly quickly as Luwin is pushing that top tier 3 tower, doing about half damage. We'll see how far she gets before the rest of the Dire finished with the Roshan. She does a fair bit of damage. And, well, we go back to farming, I guess. Spectre has the Eye of Scotty completed. No buyback, though. Man, they are really not stingy with their buybacks at all.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Just kind of waiting for some action here. I almost feel like I should start playing the elevator music again. Spectre gets hit by the fissure. And the Laguna Blade is going to get used. There was a... Alright. Spectre used the reality. Going to shatter to the Ancient Apparitional, which is going to take the Aegis away. So I guess we're even more back to just farming Dota. No one went down. Nothing really happened. Gyrocopter's just doing damage to things. Nyx Assassin's looking for a Vendetta, only level 13 at this point. He's working towards that Aghanim Scepter and could have it purchased. Ice Blast is going to miss. Mana Burn goes in by the Nyx. There's a nice stun, but here comes a couple TPs. They need to get out. Dazzle is going to get used. And the Death Prophet going to silence up the Nyx Assassin. Hook could come in from the Clockwork. He's going to blink forward, hook shot in. There's a nice double stun by the Nyx. And how far do they want to go into this? There comes a call down. Dazzle's immediately taken out by the Gloomy Blade. Clockwork's taking a lot of damage. Is this it? Spectre's into this fight. Doesn't have reality right now. Spectre gets out of the cogs thanks to the thing. Spectral Dagger. 2 go down for the rating. It's the Nyx Assassin. Echo Slam on a couple. Triple kill for the Death Prophet. And they continue pushing all buybacks available for the Radiant. Only 1 for the Dire. And that just goes to show, like, those BKBs are okay, but it doesn't help you against the Death Prophet, and you need to focus her down. And then you just have that Spectre to worry about. It's very difficult in this match. Again, Spectre uses the Mantis Style to push out the bottom lane. Creep stacks the Ancients. Spectre finds a double damage rune. Looks at it for a while. Eventually picks it up. The Death Prophet has found the Refresher Orb that she wanted. So we're closing in on 45 minutes to this game. And we have not breached the high ground yet for either team. Nyx Assassin finishes up the Aghanim Scepter. So eventually this game becomes who wins the better late game. Or who can get the better jump. Or who can play with buybacks better. And I can't really answer that right now. Gyrocopter has boots of travel. Doesn't have enough for buyback anymore. Decides to pick up the Monkey King bar. I guess to stop him from missing thanks to the Radiance. The Clockwork also working towards an Aghanim Scepter. The supports are kind of really not farmed at all. This Earthshaker, I guess, isn't even going to bother going for a Blank Dagger. I guess because he figures he won't be able to use it thanks to the Spectre Radiance. But TShow, they really needed to push their advantage earlier, and now they're paying the price. I guess they didn't give too much back to the Spectre when the Spectre started getting stronger, but It's really not going well right now. Ancient Apparition pretty close to a Scythe of Vice. We'll see how it works. Now here finally comes a push by the Dire onto the mid lane. They're going to quickly take down the tower as Death Prophet gets hit by an Ice Blast, and back they go! Spectre finishes off the tower, pops the Manta style, runs away. And they make their way through their own jungle to the top lane. Scythe device picked up by the Ancient Apparition. Not a whole lot of buybacks available. Gyrocopter still tops the net worth chart. MKB, Sanjin Yasha, Butterfly, BKB. I guess his next item would be the Satanic. And here comes the push onto the top tier 1 tower. Gyrocopter pretty far up here, could get caught out if he's not careful. Same with the Lina. Maybe they want to fight here. Here comes an Ice Blast coming through. It's going to hit on 2. Clockwork looking for the initiation. Not going to find it just yet. The Ancient Apparition is on the bottom lane trying to push out that. And I guess the Radiant are going to back up. Just going to let that tower fall. Clockwork looking for the initiation. He's going to force that forward, miss the hook. And the tower will go down. TP is cancelled. So we keep not fighting. The Clockwork's going to TP back. Leave the rest of his team in the top lane. They do want to be careful since they don't really have their initiation. And the Death Prophet's just going to nuke her way through those creeps. Not really too much the Radiant can do about it right now. Still has that Refresher Orb. Another TP back by the Skywrath Mage. As Lina is sitting here with the Invis Rune. Starts off with the Light Striker right, and now the Skywrath Mage dominating streak goes down. So there's at least a kill on the map. First in a couple of minutes. And by a couple of minutes, I mean a lot of minutes. Lina's going to find the Bounty Rune. And in that last gank, the Gem of True Sight was dropped by the Skywrath Mage. The Death Prophet playing the game like a Razor finds the Assault Cuirass. The Roshan is going to get scouted out by the Rocket. Earthshaker Fissure going to block out the Nyx for a second. He's still looking for a target here. Sees a Spectre, not the best target. Basically a bunch of heroes around the map just kind of sitting there. Heroes grouping up in the secret shop for the Dire, going over to farm some Ancients. Death Prophet ganks the Ancients, and she is murdering the shit out of them. Clockwork chimes in with Rocky. Here comes an Ice Blast. Ice Blast comes through, and it's going to hit on the Death Prophet. And that is it. Nyx Assassin runs up the hill. He's moving around the trees. He's going up the mid lane. Here he comes up the mid lane. And he's going to impale some creeps. Couple here smoked up, going for the Spectre. Spectre, it could be in trouble, but the smoke pops, and the Spectre easily gets out of there. The ancient apparition continues to run around the map with not a care in the world. Throws out the ice blast. Here comes the ice blast. Ice blast comes through. Hits some creeps. And the Roshan is still available for the heroes to go into. Do they make their way over there? Here comes the big man, Roshan, about to go down to the Death Prophet. Death Prophet uses the ult. See, it's funny. I thought this was the America's Qualifier. Turns out it's the Chinese Qualifier. Spectre finds a regeneration rune. Gonna run over to the bottom lane as a couple heroes are pushing in top. No reaction yet by the Dire. So the creeps ferociously battle out in the top lane. The Skywrath Mage comes in to screw some creeps over. It's a nice set that he's got there. Doesn't have all the slots there though. Alright, so all of our heroes at full health right now. Very interesting. Death Prophet, not even taking damage from those creeps. She's got so much armor. 39 armor to be exact. And are the Dire looking for a kill here? Another Aegis on the Spectre. And Nyx Assassin with the Vendetta tries to push out the bottom lane. Nyx Assassin has to be careful. The creeps might kill him. And another Impale is going to finish off 3 creeps at the same time. He's almost at level 16 at this point. Lulina almost at level 25. The Death Prophet getting up there, has a cheese in her inventory. Could get another one if they get to another Roshan and still haven't done anything yet. Here comes the push onto the tier 2 tower. Doing a lot of damage, especially with the minus armor from the Assault Cuirass and the increased attack speed. And now a couple heroes onto the top lane. Going on the Spectre, doesn't even matter. Spectre doesn't even care. Could go in on these heroes. But they're just going to take they're going to trade tier 2s. Not even trade tier 2s. The Death Prophet takes the Radiant all by herself, and now they rotate over to the top.
Top tower is under attack.
Not a care in the world for the Radiant. They're just going to follow those creeps up. Let the Spectre Illusions take care of everything. Take out that tower. Luina's going to take a lot of damage from those Spectre Illusions. Can't really kill them as well as she used to. And now here comes a TP onto the bottom lane. It's the Clockwork. Not really with an angle here to get the hook shot. And he doesn't have a rocket for another couple of seconds. Luina's going to TP back. And Lina has 6,500 gold in the bank. The Gyrocopter has 5,000. Could buy up the second tier of boots of travel, that is. Rocket fired out by the Clockwork. Gonna go over the Nyx Assassin, but not gonna find him. Nyx Assassin still looking for a Vendetta target. Not really seeing one right now. Vendetta gonna find the Death Prophet. He is going to walk near her. Death Prophet going to get hit out. There's an Ice Blast coming through. Ice Blast going to hit. No, it's the Laguna Blade that's going to get the kill. And now Clockwork in a lot of trouble. Nyx is in the ground. There's the Spectre ult being used all over the place, going right for the Earthshaker. Earthshaker going to get absolutely killed. And the Death Prophet bought back for this one, so she is all in here. Earthshaker doesn't have buyback. And the Nyx Assassin underground going to get caught out and killed. That's the Nyx Assassin down, also without buyback. He really wanted that Blink Dagger, I guess. And now the push comes onto the Radiant base. Death Prophet ult going to get used on the mid lane. Spectre just going to get used on the bottom lane. Fortify going to get used on all the lanes. And is this the end of the game? Clockwork hooks in, Not going to hit anything. Selena gets silenced. Gyrocopter trying to see if he can do anything. Going to get the life sucked out of him by the Death Prophet. Still doing damage with the Crypt Swarm. Also has that refresher orb available. Meanwhile, the Spectre still getting going on in the bottom lane. The Ancient Apparition turning the Clockwork into a pig, eventually taking the Clockwork down. And the Aegis is still there. Meanwhile, on the top side, another Crypt Storm is going to get used by the Death Prophet, who is just going to force the Gyrocopter back a little bit. The Spectre still going in. Meanwhile, Death Prophet in trouble, getting healed up by her spirits, and now is going to be sucking the life out of the Lina. Here comes an Ice Blast, going to stop the Death Prophet from regenerating any health. The Lina is pretty low. The Nyx burrows underground, uses a stun, hits the Death Prophet, and now he's going to use the mana burn. Death Prophet getting pretty low, but she still has that Exorcism available. The Spectre has taken out one melee Rax. Let's see if she gets two. Spectre uses the BKB, tries to get out, does get out. And that is 2 melee Rax down for the price of a Clockwork. That ranged Rax won't regen, neither will that one. And, well, that was the beginning of a good push. Well, beginning and end of a good push by Falafels as they get themselves back into this game, get a bit of an advantage in terms of creeps. So, TShow, they got to keep the lanes pushed out if they want to have a chance in this one. 55 minutes, nearing 56. We could get over an hour. And we have the Radiant pushing down the mid lane. I think they're just saying, this is it. If you beat us here, then I guess we lost, and good game. So here we go. Clockwork Rocket comes through. He has a hook shot available. Ice Blast comes through, going to hit on 2, and Nyx Assassin hits the Mana Burn onto the Skywrath Mage. Hook shot is going to hit onto the Earthshaker, canceling any blink. Oh, Spectre goes in. He's hitting the Earthshaker. Earthshaker slowed down. Earthshaker's burning down to the Radiance. Will he go down eventually? Well, he will not. Another hook shot onto the Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter getting about half health. And Nyx Assassin on the round about half health as well. Spectre takes down the Apparition in the end. Death Prophet getting pretty low. Gonna eventually get killed by the Flag Cannon. And Gyrocopter just sitting on the high ground. The Spectre, full health. BKB, doing everything. Gyrocopter uses a Satanic. Also has a Rapier, by the way. And Gyrocopter eventually taking out the Clockwork. Clockwork buys back. Gem on the ground. Gyrocopter doing all the damage. Triple kill for Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter, can he do it? Here comes the hook shot. Hook shot goes through. Gyrocopter taking the Clockwork completely down. He gets taken down. Spectre goes through on the backside. Spectre taking on the Earthshaker. Earthshaker down on the backside. Spectre with the BKB trying to do the damage. Geometry Crusade on the ground. Will they take down the Spectre? Spectre uses Mantis Cell. Nyx goes down in the end to the Radiance. This is Earthshaker. Mono. Gyrocopter gets a buyback. There's a BKB. There's a Beats of Travel right back on him. Spectre goes down, buys back. Buyback on the Spectre. Gyrocopter, he's still low. He has the Satanic in 30 seconds. They took it out of Rax. Is this their chance? Gyrocopter, will he do it? Gyrocopter, he's fairly low. Spectre trying to find her chance to go in. It has the Mantis Sound in about 8 seconds. Refresh roll was already used. And I think the Radiant might go back in a second. Only Spectre is available right now. They're waiting for their creeps. Gyrocopter trying to regen, has the Satanic in 8 seconds, 5 seconds to the Satanic. Will they go in on these towers? They can. No buybacks available except for the Skywrath Man. Skywrath Mage, you gotta get back in there. Skywrath Mage, you gotta go. Skywrath, buyback. Skywrath, buyback. 2 alive for the tower. They gotta go in on this now. Spectre, is this going to be a win? Is this going to be a win? The Ancient's getting down. Ancient's going lower. Gyrocopter gonna take it out. Gyrocopter, do it. Do it, you beautiful bastard. Come on. Radiant win. TShow with the plays. Holy shit. Just when you think that everything's going wrong around you. Just when you think that everything's going wrong around you.
Climb the ladder of success with your hands in the pocket.
Just when you think everything's going wrong around you, you see a Spectre. 6-slotted Spectre coming at you with all the damage and you can't take her down. What do? You pick up a frickin' Divine Rapier on a Gyrocopter. Just absolutely farm throughout the whole thing. And you say, we're going to do this, team. You don't stop. You don't stop ever. You don't stop until that Ancient's down. You take out the heroes, you take out their buybacks, and eventually you win the game. Wow. I did not see that coming. I don't think many people saw that coming. Gyrocopter picks up a Divine Rapier, and they win the game with it. What else? What are you gonna say? TShow fighting their hearts out here in the Dota 2 Shanghai America's Open, and I'm speechless. So I'm just going to end it there. I'm Pythian. Thanks for watching. And as always, cheers.